Sir Fix-a-Lot here. We're going to be changing the fuel filter out of a 2004 330i. This is the same procedure for all 99 through 2005 3 Series. Going to be changing it utilizing this MAN filter. Bosch makes one also. The MAN filter part number is WK532-1. This can be purchased through eBay or Autohaus AZ. The unit itself looks like this. Has an arrow indicating direction. That's this way. And this is actually towards the front of the car, these two outlets, and then these two inlets are towards the rear of the car. So it basically sits underneath the driver's side, and I'll show you that in a bit. We'll be getting to that. First things first, got to get the car off on all fours here. Safety first. Place the 4 jack stands on the appropriate pads, and then have backup jacks both at the front of the car and the rear of the car. We're going to go to the fuse box first in order to remove fuse number 54, which is for the fuel pump. This will evacuate most of the gasoline out of the fuel lines, such that when we pull this filter from underneath the car, there won't be a lot of spillage. In order to reduce the fuel spillage when you remove the fuel filter, you'll want to remove fuse number 54, which is the fuel pump fuse. And the fuel panel is actually located on the roof of your glove box, and there's 2 tabs, one here and one on the other side. You just turn these 90 degrees and the whole panel should actually drop down like this. Fuse number 54 is this 20 amp fuse in this 2004 330. So you remove the tool to remove the fuses, just pull on that and out it comes. Now just go ahead and turn on the car until you essentially run out of fuel, and then we'll go underneath to remove the shield that gives us access to the fuel filter. Underneath the driver's side, you can see the 2 fuel lines coming into the fuel filter itself. Fuel filter is protected by this shield that is actually held on by 5 bolts. One here, one here, one here, and there's actually 2 up at a 45-degree angle up in the front. And these are all 8mm, so you remove all 5 of these and then the shield comes down. Once the shield is off, the fuel filter is exposed. There are 2 connections back here. You can remove them with a screwdriver, but to put them back on, these hose clamps are designed to utilize more like pliers to put them back on. And you can actually drop the filter by undoing this 10mm nut underneath. And once you get that undone, these 2 here loosen, one down here loosen, and then there's another one, a smaller one down here. Try to show you. There's a smaller hose here that's not even clamped on. You just kind of pull that off. But there is one more clamp down on this one. So get those 3 loosened, get this 10mm nut off, and then you'll be able to pull down the fuel filter, just being careful not to actually tear the hoses. Once you have the new filter in and the shield back up, go ahead and put in the 20 amp fuse and then turn the ignition to position 2. Don't actually start up the car, because what you want to do is you want to so-called prime the pump. It'll actually fill up the fuel filter and fuel lines before you fire up the engine. Otherwise you're going to get a starvation signal on fuel. It'll be an error signal that you'll have to clear. But if you just turn it to position 2 without actually starting up the car, it'll go ahead and fill up the fuel filter, get everything pressurized. Do that maybe a couple of times, and then go ahead and fire up the car, and it should fire up without any error codes. That's it for replacing the fuel filter. Should be about, if you had all your stuff together, about 30 minutes. But if you don't, The procedure might take upwards of about an hour. This is a procedure that needs to be done at the 60,000 mile mark. This car has over 90,000 miles, still ran fine, still had the original fuel filter in there because it's a pretty big one. But the recommendation is to change it at about 60 to 70,000 miles.